In the view of the MPC, although the economy had successfully exited the recession, the recovery was very, very fragile, given that the GDP of 0.151% was still far below population growth rate. Committee therefore was of the view that there is a strong need for the monetary authorities to consolidate on all administrative measures currently being taken, not only to rein in inflation, but also on the actions so far taken to spur output growth. According to the committee, such measures include boosting consumption and investments, as well as diversifying the base of the Nigerian economy through effects of forex restrictions for the importation of goods and food products that can be produced in Nigeria. It also urged the bank to continue to put in place measures that will boost export earnings in Nigeria. On the consumption and investment side, MPC noted that although the intervention facilities to anchor borrowers program currently at 631.4 billion to 3.1 million smallholder farmers cultivating 3.8 million hectares of land, for the AXMIs, about 11.7 billion to 29,026 beneficiaries, for households under the targeted credit facilities, about 253.4 billion naira to 548,345 beneficiaries, comprised of 470,969 households and 77,376 SMEs, have helped in boosting output. Management should therefore aggressively increase its intervention in these sectors, including agricultural processing and manufacturing. Under the National Youth Investment Fund, 2.1 billion naira has been disbursed to 7,057 beneficiaries, of which 4,411 are individuals and 2,646 are SMEs. Under the Creative Industry Financing Initiative, the CBN has disbursed 3.19 billion naira and to disburse to 341 beneficiaries across movie production, movie distribution, music, and the software development sectors. Under the 1 trillion naira rail sector intervention, 856.3 billion has been disbursed to 233 real sector projects, of which 77 are in light manufacturing, 36 in agro-based industry, 30 in services, and 11 in mining. Under the 100 billion naira Healthcare Support Intervention Fund, 97.4 billion naira has been disbursed to 91 healthcare projects, out of which 26 are pharmaceuticals, 65 hospital services. Also, the sum of 232.5 million naira has been disbursed to 5 beneficiaries under the CBN's healthcare grant for research on COVID-19 and Lassa fever. Under the National Mass Metering Program, the CBN has disbursed 35.9 billion naira to 9 discos for the acquisition of 656,752 electricity meters. And under the National Nigerian Electricity Stabilization Facility, 2 NEMS, 93.8 billion naira has also been disbursed to 11 distribution companies. The committee members applauded government's efforts in combating the headwinds imposed by the pandemic and urged that going forward, government should avoid an entire nationwide lockdown like was experienced in 2020, as this will reverse the wholesome gains jointly achieved between the government and the central bank since the outbreak of this pandemic. The MPC carefully assessed the options on direction of policy in the short to medium term. It reappraised current measures by the government to purchase COVID-19 vaccines and the general preparedness of relevant public health agencies to guard against the spread of the mutating strains of the virus. To this end, the committee noted the appropriate steps taken by the government to ensure that up to 70% of the populace get vaccinated to drastically drive down the infection rate in the country and hence sustain economic activities. Committee noted the persisting security crisis, especially in major food-producing regions of the country, and the severe toll on food supply and prices. It noted that inflation had moderated marginally due to the unrelenting efforts of the bank in supporting agriculture to boost food supply. The committee thus reiterated its call to the government to intensify various efforts towards addressing the security situation in the country to ease supply bottlenecks and bring down food prices. The MPC further noted government's commitment towards investing in public infrastructure despite constrained fiscal position and urged a continued focus on this objective while exploring the option of effective partnership with the private sector as improved road networks, telecommunications and power supply will greatly and positively impact the supply chain and moderate price developments in the country. It further noted the need for collaboration with Nigeria's huge diaspora through the issue of diaspora bonds targeted at specific infrastructure projects. Even as the committee noted that the public debt stock was currently high, it was of the view that project-specific diaspora bonds issues could conveniently pay itself back without imposing a burden on government finances. It noted the complementary role this would play in boosting foreign exchange supply, a creation to reserves, and easing of the current exchange rate pressure. Committee noted that the equities market remained in a comfortable place, an indication of investors' confidence in stability of the Nigerian economy in the medium term. The MPC thus urged the bank to maintain its collaboration with the fiscal authority to improve investment climate towards attracting sustainable foreign direct investment. With the developments in the banking system, committee applauded the efforts of management in ensuring a reasonably low level and steadily reducing rate of non-performing loans, even as aggregate credit continued to expand through this crisis period. While non-performing loans remain marginally above the bank's regulatory threshold, members noted that it was at a reasonable level considering the current state of macroeconomic imbalances occasioned by the pandemic. Committee's decision. The recent developments in domestic economy presented two broad options to the NPC, which were to either aggressively address the high inflationary pressure or continue to pursue measures aimed at supporting this recovery. Whereas the committee remained overwhelmingly committed to supporting the efforts of the federal government in ensuring full restoration of the productive capacity of the Nigerian economy, members remained focused towards achieving price stability in the short to medium term. The MPC noted that economic growth could be hampered in an environment of unstable prices. To this end, the choice therefore was between loosening the stance of policy to ease credit further or tighten to moderate price development or maintain a hold stance in order to allow previous policy measures to continue to permeate the economy while observing global and domestic developments. Committee noted that an expansionary stance of policy could transmit to reduced pricing of the loan portfolios of deposit money banks and result therefore in cheaper credit to the real sector of the economy. On the converse, this expected transmission may be constrained by security challenges and infrastructural deficits. On the other hand, while a contractionary stance will only address the monetary component of price development, supply-side constraints such as the security crisis and infrastructural deficits can only be addressed by policies outside the purview of the central bank. A tight stance in the view of members of the MPC will also hamper the bank's objectives of providing low-cost credit to households, to micro, small, and medium enterprises, to the agricultural and other output growth and employment-stimulating sectors of the Nigerian economy. Based on the above considerations, the MPC made the decision to hold all policy parameters constant. Committee thus decided by a unanimous vote to retain the monetary policy rate at 11.5%. In summary, MPC voted as follows. 1, retain MPR at 11.5%. 2, retain asymmetrical corridor at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR. 3, retain the CRR at 27.5, and 4, retain liquidity ratio at 30%.